Alrighty, well, welcome again, everybody. My name is Mark Martinez. I'm a senior implementation consultant here with Team Dynamics, and I'm here to lead you in today's end user training, specifically targeted for your client portal. So in just a minute, we're going to look at your client portal. I believe Melody is going to be driving. So what we're going to focus showing you today is how you as an end user can access this thing called the client portal, what it is, what are the key components of it that you're going to be looking at. And there are several pieces to Team Dynamics, and so I've been working with your team for several months. In particular, Melody, Jonathan, James, Stephen, and several others on the ticketing applications for the appropriate departments. We've led training for how technicians will respond to tickets. And this training is focused on the people that will generate the tickets, the ticket requesters, and that's what we're going to be showing you in the tool. So most of you may only have access to this part of the tool known as the client portal. We oftentimes call it TD client, TD for Team Dynamics client, kind of a shortened version of the client portal. But the client portal is your web-facing your public-facing web portal that has several items on there that we're going to cover today. From here, we're going to go ahead and dive into the tool a little bit. I'm going to hand off the ball and stop sharing on my end and let Melody drive in your client portal. She's actually going to start out, I believe, in your external Imperial client portal, I believe, and then click on a button there that will take you to Team Dynamics. And I'll be highlighting the features of Team Dynamics. I know there's a couple of other folks from Imperial. If there's anything that you want to highlight within your client portal that's specific to these end users that you want to show them, feel free to jump on in and mention. Here we are in your current portal. Melody clicked on the Team Dynamics link there or button, and that takes you here. You all should have access to the middle one that says client portal. That's the TD client. That's the one that will match to that URL I was showing you just a few moments ago. And that's going to land you here. Now, if you come back here periodically, you may notice that things change a little bit here. Maybe there's more buttons, a few more bells and whistles that get added here over time. It's still a little bit of an evolution. And that's going to open up essentially a red menu bar right below your logo there. And there will be things on here that you have access to. Melody, as an administrator, and for those of you on the call that have extra access to the tool, will have a few more bells and whistles than some of you do. Some of you may only have access to the home page, the services, the knowledge base, and maybe the questions. If you're not seeing the reports, that's okay. And if you're not seeing projects, workspaces, that's okay as well. Today, our focus is what can you do on the home page? What can you do in the services area? And what can you do in the knowledge base? So with that said, we are indeed on our home page here. And from here, there is just some general contact information. And in the left, there's the general phone number. In the right, there's a connect with us in that right panel with Facebook and Twitter. Those things might be tweaked and changed over time. So the look and feel of here might grow or evolve, not only long term, but in the short term as well. And then in the middle, those red buttons, view your tickets, academic services, information technology, student services. Those are some of the easy buttons that you have access to. And once you create a ticket or submit a service request, you can click on the view your tickets, and that will show you the tickets that you've submitted. You can track those along. So it's a nice, easy button, like what we say, to be able to track or view your tickets that you've requested. The academic services, information technology, student services. Mel, do you want to click on one of those? I don't know if this particular group would be clicking on all three of them or just specifically to academic services or whatnot. This is going to take you to a quick requestable service for that particular department. So quick academic services ticket you can generate, a quick, if we go back to the home page, a quick information technology service request can be generated, or this is taking you to the actual category that has information technology categories and services. And then the other red button on there on the home page is going to do the same thing and take you over to the parent level category for student services categories. So all three of those easy buttons on that home page is connecting to this service catalog idea. So let's go ahead and start there. So the services button is going to take you to this thing called the service catalog. And what is a service catalog? A service catalog is a listing of requestable services that you can submit a ticket for, right? And it's broken down into categories and services, and those services are requestable, meaning there's going to be eventually a button next to the service that will allow you to submit a request for that service. So password reset, I need help with my password reset, I need a new laptop, and many other services that these departments provide for you. And so you as the end user can surf through the service catalog, and by understanding the structure here, you'll notice that here is kind of where those easy buttons lead you to, right? There's a student services category. Underneath that category is obviously the student services requestable services. Academic services is going to have categories and services related to academic services, and information technology. Melody is seeing several other categories here, like the project management one, maintenance and operations, that you may not see, and that's okay. There are certain things turned on and off depending on your role in the organization and the groups that you're in. So if you're seeing things here in Melody's view that you can't see currently, that's why, because there are just some things that are turned on for some people and not for others as appropriate. And there might be things eventually that get added here that you'll see over time as other parts of Imperial get services defined over here as well. That quick button on the home page, or scrolling through the service catalog, or probably the best place yet to do it is simply going up to the search bar, which is up at the top next to your name. That might be the quickest, easiest way to find something you're looking to do, like password reset, right? And that's going to pull up anything that has a service or a knowledge-based article around resetting your password, right? That might be the easiest way to find something in the tool to make sure that this is the service that you're looking for. So that search button is extremely helpful for you. We're all used to Googling something, right? On our handheld device or our phones or on our desktop. We always are going over to the search bar anyway and searching for items. And this will pull up the items that have that in the title or the subject or the description for you. So oftentimes the search at the top is your quickest, easiest way to find a service that you know you need help with. In this particular case, it's the account reset service that Melody is looking for. She's going to click on that and she's going to read a short description here about this service, which again is a little bit still under construction. But if this is indeed the service you're looking for, there's a red request service, and that is how you would start to submit your service request, by clicking on that red button. This is a real simple request, and there's only a couple of fields in here, right? The title is the title of the ticket that you have, not your title. It's what is it that you want somebody to do for you. The account department typically is going to pull in your account department based on your user record, if you have one associated to it. And then, is this for you or another account? And if it's you, then you simply hit the red request button, and this would essentially submit a ticket on your behalf that somebody would help you with this particular service. So for now, let's just hit the red request button to submit this service request. And for you, you're done now. Now you're going to wait until the technician on the other end of this ticket, or somebody in the help desk, or whatever department this ticket ends up in, resolves or responds to this particular service request. You can, however, track this one. We mentioned before that you could view your tickets from the home page. Where that is linking is now there is a secondary menu bar underneath the red one. So it's this gray one here. And there's ticket request is the second item on this one. When Melody clicks on that, she's going to see all of the requests that she's submitted. This will display all of your requests as well. And from here, you can click on the title of your ticket. Got a question, will we receive an email that the ticket was created? If that is a notification that's part of the ticket type and the ticket settings, if that's set by your administrators, then yes, you would receive an email, and there Melody is showing you that currently the email that a ticket was created. So you have the email, which is being sent out to you, but you also can track it right here in the client portal as well under the ticket request, or that red easy button on the homepage, view my tickets. And you can actually do a few things here. Yeah, let's go ahead and show them that. So the view your tickets, it's going to take you back to this page again, which is the ticket request. And then when you click on the ticket, you can see the details of it. You can see that you're the requester. If you happen to have any supporting screenshots or documentation that you want to share with your technicians as far as what's happening, you can always submit an attachment to this. And I would recommend that, especially if it's a technical, if you're having trouble in your workstation or on a piece of software and it's acting differently, if you can take a screenshot as an attachment, or any supporting attachments, can be very, very helpful for the technicians to be able to do some troubleshooting or to see what it is, the error that you're seeing, so on and so forth. So don't be afraid to leverage the attachment feature here that will enable your ticket technicians to be able to help you faster. In the client portal, for the actual workflow process, it won't necessarily show you who is responsible for the next step in the workflow. It'll just show you the high level detail of where it's at and what step it's in. Alrighty, a couple of other bells and whistles that you can see and do here. Alrighty, so on the ticket here, there's a couple of things that you can do. In this particular case, if you figured out how to reset your password or you got it unlocked, you could withdraw the request. As I mentioned before, you can add attachments. And then there's a couple of buttons on here that you don't have necessarily access to. We're seeing on here because Melody happens to have elevated access, and that's the red to TDX number and the bottom right, the update button. So those, you're not going to have access to that. Melody does because she has access to other parts of the tool. And because of that, she needs those two. If you only have access to this client portal, you'll just see the first three red buttons. But you will see the comment button, and that'll allow you to comment on this ticket. And it'll allow you to get in touch with folks that are working on the ticket from the technician standpoint. So if you go and click on the comment, you can post kind of your own internal update here or communication with the ticketing technicians that are working on this ticket for you here. I think Melody did that a little earlier. She clicked on the red comment button, and that could allow you to send a communication to the technicians that are working on this ticket with you. And that'll allow you to see these items in the feed too. So as you comment on it, or as a technician comments back to you on things they're working on to keep you updated on this ticket, the feed will capture that. You'll be able to track those communications here in this. So from a ticketing submission, requesting, the service catalog, as you can imagine, is going to house dozens upon dozens of tickets that you can request throughout your organization. So your service catalog is going to continue to grow over time. As you see, it's currently got the 3 high-level areas, and other areas may be added to the service catalog to add their categories and services that you can request those services from those departments, right? So the long and short of it here is that you want to be able to understand where to request services, how to find them. That's the easy button on the home page can get you started, but the service catalog and drilling down into the categories and services will get you down to the specific requestable services. And then the search area will allow you to search really granularly on those items. Well, the other button that I did want to touch on too, good catch there, Melody, is the add alerts on here. And that would allow you to add alerts, which is going to send you an email notification when any of these triggers are met on this particular ticket. So many of these tickets, as you guys have seen, have a workflow or tasks associated with them, and some of them can be quite long. And so you can get an email trigger to know when tasks are completed, when the ticket's completed, if a service request allows you to put a due date on there, when it is changed from new to in process, or when it's overdue. If you select any of these checkboxes here, you are then going to get an email notification when any of these triggers meet, and then you can track that along. So it's another way to monitor and track this ticket along. So good catch there, Melody. Client portal users have access to this feature to be able to track tickets along. If you happen to have, and some of you may, if you happen to be approvers on steps of a workflow, there's a My Approvals in the gray secondary bar as well. And some of you, as Melody is pointing out, may be approvers on some of these steps periodically. And so you will get email notifications for sure for that, but you can also track them here in the My Approvals. Some of these other buttons on this gray bar can be very helpful too. It lists the services in an A to Z, from an A to Z format, so it just gives you a different structure of searching for services out there. It will show you the high-level categories as well. So there's a number of ways to search for services. Betsy does ask, would it be possible to put the M&O link on the homepage? Absolutely. I'm sure your team has that on their to-do list. Yeah, you can add many of those on the homepage as appropriate. So that I'm sure that's on their to-do list. On that gray bar, we'll just start from left to right because we skipped over a couple ones. So next to the left of ticket requests, which we've already seen, shows you your tickets. To the left of that is project requests. That's coming down the pike when we talk about project requests. If you ever request a project, which is a very similar process, you'll be able to see your project requests here, and that's coming in the near future. We talked about ticket requests. My favorites, each of the services has an extra button below the submit a request button that says to favorite it. So that's a service that you might leverage frequently, right? And if you select the add to favorites, that's where it would show up there. So there's the add to favorites button on the account reset one. And now in the my favorites, in that secondary bar, you would be able to see your favorite services. So if there's 5 or 6 services that you request on a regular basis, you can favorite those, which is a nice feature. The My Recent is going to show you recent services that you've submitted. And then to the right of the My Recent is the My Approvals, which we touched on. We touched on the services A to Z, the categories. The other buttons to the right of that are going to be primarily for Melody permissions, audit, and templates. and then the search button as well. But hopefully the long and short of today's training is that you know what the client portal is, you know how to log into it, you know how to potentially find a requestable service on your home page, or for sure through the service catalog, and how to submit and track a request that you've submitted. There is a question in here. Is there an option to flag the importance level of the service ticket? So the form that you fill out for your service request is very customizable. You can add many fields to it. One of them can be a priority field where you could potentially select, is this a high priority ticket item? That is something that your administrators and the people that build out your services for you can build into that type of a service request. So that can be done. We will continue to talk about the knowledge base now. So the knowledge base looks very similar to the service catalog. And what is it? So every organization has a knowledge base, whether they have it in a formalized tool or not. There's knowledge at Imperial Valley College. There's knowledge throughout your organization, right? And the idea is the more you can share information in a knowledge base for your end users to do their own self-help, the less frequently you would have to submit a service request. So the idea is that you want to pull in all that expertise from around the college into one portal, one area, to be able to supply that knowledge out to your audiences. So this is going to be an ongoing evolution of the tool. The knowledge base never gets finished being built out because it's always being updated with new articles, new items, right? Technology changes quite frequently, so the knowledge base continues to grow and get trimmed and get archived and get updated, right? So the knowledge base structure looks very similar to the service catalog. The difference is that on the service catalog, you had categories at a high level that eventually led into services like the account password reset service. From that point, you clicked on a button, you filled out a form, you submitted a service request because it was a requestable service. On the knowledge base side, the idea is that the knowledge base structure is very similar. It does have categories, but it ends in articles. And those articles don't necessarily have a requestable button on there because the knowledge base should provide self-help. And it should provide either instructions or a way for you to do something without having to submit a request, without having to pick up a phone and call somebody or go walking into an office and have somebody else doing something for you. The idea here is that this article, this knowledge base article, is indeed self-help. And after reading through it, following the instructions, you are able to do this on your own. So again, it provides self-help. And here's an example. So Melody's in the knowledge base, and she is looking at an account password reset article in here. If followed all the way through, will allow you to reset your password all on your own. If you look and notice in the right, there is no submit a request button in the red area. You can share out this password reset with others if you wanted to. Melody can edit this article because she's an administrator and she can build it out. You most likely won't see the edit article, but you can add the favorites. And we have access, I personally have access to a Team Dynamics knowledge base article myself, and I add a lot of these articles to my favorites because they are very handy. So I recommend hitting that add to favorites one if you are leveraging this particular knowledge base article frequently. You can see the details about this article, and then obviously you can see the information within it here. And again, the idea is that you're following these instructions, 1, 2, you're looking at this information in here, and it is hopefully simple enough for you to follow along. And at the end of this article, it ends in what I call a dead end in a good way. The dead end means you're done. you've been able to do and follow these instructions, and you're able to reset your own password, again, without having to submit a ticket, wait on somebody else to help you out. You don't have to pick up a phone and call anybody, or you don't have to walk down to the help desk. You can do this all on your own. So the idea is that the knowledge base is going to grow over time, and all the departments that provide information, these articles from around the college, are all going to work in collaboration to pull more and more articles in here over time and build them out, so that you have more and more self-help opportunities for yourself. And then just a note, Melody, if you can go back into the search area up at the top and type in account reset again, you'll notice that when she does that, so when you're searching on account reset, it is going to pull up not only the service catalog item, which is the second one, but it's also pulling up the knowledge base. So it's searching both the service catalog and the knowledge base. And so you can determine which one you want. Do you want the one that you want to do on your own? Or do you want the one, you need the service request that you need a technician or somebody else to help you along the way, and you have those options depending on your level of experience and expertise. So the search capability is searching. If you go back up to that search, there is a globe with a drop down, and you can search on the knowledge base specifically. If you just want knowledge base, you can search on service catalog specifically, or questions specifically. If you don't specify, it'll search the whole tool for you. So most likely you're probably going to want to just search in the search, just like Melody did, put a account reset, let it pull up those items, and then figure out which one you want to use. Follow these instructions and reset your own password, and then you should be done and be able to move on with your day and not have to wait for a technician to get back to you. And for those of you that are in some of these departments like academic services, information technology, if you all have contributions to the knowledge base, work with your administrators, your managers, the team that I mentioned before, Melody, Jonathan, James, because the idea is that a rising tide lifts all boats. And so the knowledge that you have, that your department has, can be pulled into this knowledge base to help others throughout the college around here. And this shouldn't be a small team's responsibility necessary to build the entire knowledge base of an organization out. It should be everybody contributing to the knowledge base that's going to help provide all of this self-help throughout the college. And you can help to grow this area. I will also mention that the services and the knowledge base area also has permissions on who can see what. So if there are knowledge base articles or categories that your department only should be seeing or only want certain groups to have access to, there are certain visibility permissions that can be turned on or off for that sort of permissions on who can see what services and or what knowledge base parts of the knowledge base category and articles for you. So there's a lot of bells and whistles that can support who needs to be able to see it. Certainly there are some knowledge base articles that the entire college doesn't need to see, and so those can be permissioned as such. Same on the service catalog. There might be services that only faculty need to see or that students should not see, right? And so those things can be turned on and off for those groups as appropriate. So a lot of capabilities within the tool for that. Any questions now that we've had a little bit of time to look at the tool? Any questions on anything we've covered, from the home page, what you're seeing here, to the service catalog, to the knowledge base as a whole, again, from a bell and whistle to the usability? Yes, great, Melody. From Carolina, is there an option to CC someone in case we're submitting a ticket for someone else? There is, and that would be a field on a form, right? So that would be something you'd want to work with your administrators on so that you could submit that, because indeed that happens periodically, especially for admin assistants who might be filling out a ticket for a department head of some sort, right? So then you have the creator of the ticket and the requester of the ticket could be two different fields. So yes, that can be done. That covers our content for today. Again, accessing the client portal, going to the home page, leveraging the service catalog for submitting requests, going to the knowledge base to be able to do some self-help, and leveraging that search button that can really help you find the many of these items that you're looking for in here. So if there are no other questions, folks, we are done for the day. I'll hold on for just a second to see if there's any last questions. And I'm not seeing anything. So I want to thank you for your time today. Great job driving as always, Melody. Work with your managers and administrators on some of the bells and whistles that might benefit your team. But good luck in the tool. Thank you, everybody. And have, oh, go ahead, Melody.
If I just make one comment. So, because I've got a couple of private messages too. So the way that we initially did this rollout is we brought over all the forms that were active and live in the service desk. So there are, of course, multiple processes or forms that are currently being housed in a mock form process, or some even still paper form processes that would obviously be ideal to house in Team Dynamics and leverage the workflows, the notifications, the knowledge base articles, and so on. So, but with our first rollout, we were just carrying over all active processes in SolarWinds in our help desk and getting those all set up and working the way they should. And then definitely the next round is to add additional requests. I know, for example, HR, we've definitely talked about an onboarding process that notifies the various departments, automatically generates tickets so that you submit one ticket that goes to all the departments it needs to have an effective onboarding process. Those are things we definitely want to build out. But since they didn't exist in the tool we didn't have that template to go off of. So that will require conversations with the appropriate departments to build it out in this particular tool. But yes, absolutely. Anything that you can potentially think of that might help streamline your processes, we're all for it. I know Business Office, we have a couple that we're looking at building too, but initially it's just trying to get you a place where you can still continue business as usual, submitting requests for the same processes you were used to in the other tool. So I hope that clarifies it for the few that reached out to me. Oh, and more, and you may find, for example, instruction, you have a couple of forms. Again, we copied it over as it existed. Some of these forms were very basic. And so I know Carol brought up about copying, for example. So there are additional fields that can be added. If you take a look at your forms in those departments, work with your managers, it could be that you may find you want to now add some more fields, collect some more information so that the form has all the necessary information for you to proceed with processing the request. But again, we started out with what was already in the existing tool, and we can always modify those forms as you see fit based on your feedback.
All righty, well, we'll end the call today. The recording will be made available, so it'll be shared up by Melody and team. And again, thank you for your time today, and hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday.